Most people use sewing needles without giving them a second thought. They're tiny, inexpensive, and found in nearly every sewing kit around the world. Yet this simple tool has played a crucial role in human history, helping people create clothing, repair fabrics, make sails for ships, and even survive harsh climates. Long before machines existed, sewing needles were painstakingly crafted by hand, and today they're manufactured with remarkable precision. So how did sewing needles evolve? Why are they shaped the way they are? And how are they made? Let's find out right here on History of Simple Things. One of the most fascinating things about sewing needles is just how old they are. Archaeologists have discovered needles dating back tens of thousands of years, long before cities, agriculture, or written language existed. Early humans made needles from bone, antlers, ivory, and even animal horns. These primitive tools allowed people to stitch together animal hides, creating clothing that helped them survive cold climates. In many ways, the sewing needle was a survival technology. Without it, humans would have struggled to expand into some of the harshest environments on Earth. As civilizations developed, so did needle-making techniques. Ancient cultures began producing needles from copper, bronze, and eventually iron. Metal needles were stronger, thinner, and more durable than bone versions. They could create finer stitches and last much longer. Throughout the ancient world, skilled craftsmen produced needles by hand, often treating them as valuable household items. A good needle could be used for years and was sometimes passed down through generations. The design of a sewing needle might seem obvious today, but every part serves a purpose. The sharp point pierces fabric while minimizing damage to the fibers. The long body provides strength and control. The eye holds the thread securely while allowing it to move smoothly. Different needle designs exist for different materials. Some have extremely sharp points for woven fabrics, while others have rounded tips that slide between knitted fibers without cutting them. Even small changes in shape can dramatically affect sewing performance. Modern sewing needles begin as coils of high-quality steel wire. Automated machines cut the wire into short lengths, flatten a small section where the eye will be located, and then punch or drill the tiny hole through the metal. Both ends are shaped, with one carefully ground into a sharp point, while the rest of the needle is refined to exact dimensions. The needles are then heat-treated in furnaces to harden the steel and tempered to prevent brittleness. Afterward, they undergo extensive polishing that removes microscopic imperfections and creates the smooth surface needed to pass easily through fabric. Many are coated with nickel, chrome, or specialized finishes to improve durability and reduce friction. Finally, strict quality control systems inspect the needles for straightness, sharpness, eye quality, and strength before they are sorted, packaged, and shipped worldwide. For thousands of years, sewing needles were handmade. That changed dramatically during the Industrial Revolution. New machines allowed manufacturers to produce needles in enormous quantities while maintaining consistent quality. What was once a relatively expensive tool became affordable to ordinary households. This transformation helped fuel the growth of the clothing industry and made sewing supplies more accessible than ever before. Many people think a needle is just a needle, but there are dozens of specialized types, each carefully designed for a particular purpose. Hand sewing needles are general-purpose tools used for everyday repairs and simple sewing projects, while embroidery needles have larger eyes that accommodate thicker decorative threads. Quilting needles are shorter and stronger, allowing quilters to make precise stitches through multiple layers of fabric. Leather needles feature sharp, wedge-shaped points that can pierce tough hides without tearing them excessively. And upholstery needles are often longer and sturdier for working with thick fabrics, padding, and furniture materials. Sewing machine needles are perhaps the most specialized of all, with different shapes, sizes, and point designs tailored to specific fabrics such as denim, silk, knitwear, or leather. Manufacturers produce needles in a wide range of thicknesses, known as gauges, to match different threads and materials. Choosing the correct needle is more important than many beginners realize. The wrong needle can snag delicate fabric, leave visible holes, break thread, skip stitches, or even damage a sewing machine. A sewing needle may look simple, but manufacturers work with incredibly tight tolerances. The eye must be smooth enough not to fray thread. The shaft must be perfectly straight. The point must be sharp enough to penetrate fabric without excessive force. Even a tiny flaw can affect performance. This level of precision is why modern needles can withstand thousands of stitches, despite being only a few centimeters long. The sewing needle is one of humanity's oldest and most enduring tools. From prehistoric bone needles used by early humans to the precision-engineered steel versions made today, its basic purpose has remained remarkably unchanged. It has helped people create clothing, build industries, express creativity, and solve everyday problems for thousands of years. The next time you pick up a sewing needle, remember that this tiny piece of metal carries a history stretching back tens of thousands of years, a simple tool with an extraordinary story. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.